Good afternoon, everyone. I've been asked to do a devotion for my good friend earlier. And so I've decided for us to have a look at the book of Daniel chapter 3, and we shall read verses 22. We shall read verse 22. Daniel chapter 3, verse 22. The Bible says, "Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego." May the good Lord bless the reading of His word now until Jesus comes. There's a friend of mine who tells me a story that back in the 90s, when South Africa had just received independence, he tells me that he passed his matric here in the Eastern Cape, and then he applied at Wits where he got accepted. Wits Tech during that time, he was gonna do engineering. And so when he got there during his first year, he tells me that he was sort of initiated into this culture of the school. So what happens is that he says a group of young men who were doing this initiation on him, they took him to a railway track. They tied him down. After tying him down on a railway track, horizontal to it, he says it was around in the early hours of the morning. They tied him down, and then after tying him down, they left him there for the whole day. He says, and he could see that the sun was beginning to set around this time. He was hungry, and then it was starting to become dark. As it was becoming dark, now he says he felt the railway track vibrating. Now, mind you, he's lying down, sleeping on his back. He's tied down to the railway track. And so he says, as he was lying down, he could feel the railway track vibrating. As he could feel the railway track, he started to hear sounds of a train that was coming. Now it was a bit dark, so when he looked to his right, he saw a light coming from afar as it was approaching. It was approaching, and the vibrations became stronger, the sound became louder, and he thought to himself, now I'm gonna die. He says the way he was scared, you can't even describe it. And so when the train was close by, about a few meters, less than 10 meters from where he was, the train changed in railway tracks and went to the other side, to the other tracks, and it never crashed. So he changed track, and after a while, those boys, they came, they untied him. He says when they untied him, he was so embarrassed, yet he had peed on himself. That's how scared he was. When I looked into what he told me, I was reminded of the story that happens in Daniel chapter 3. We get 3 young men who, for standing up for what is right, we won't go through that story. The king decides to throw them into a fire that is exceedingly hot. The Bible says they were tied up. Strong men in Babylon tied them up. And after tying them up, they threw them into the fire. Now, what we get from this story, number one, is that they were never fighting with the strong men. What amazed me in this story is how calm they were. But for me, that becomes the fact that they were saved. That's God. God can do many things. That's God. You must expect such things from God. Our faith in God should allow us to expect great things from God. It should not surprise us that God saved them from the fire. What surprises me is that a fire so strong, whilst people are being thrown into the fire, they don't react or jump down, but they are calm. How do you approach danger in a calm manner? And men who are strong right beside you, those guys are burning, but you remain calm in the face of danger. How do we remain calm in the face of danger? These young men, they remained calm. For me, that's the ultimate miracle in that story. Remaining calm in the face of danger. How did they do it? How did they do it? Unlike my friend who peed on himself when he saw a train that was coming, this young man remained calm. How did he do it? I remember a story in the Bible where Jesus says that the disciples were in a boat and they were crying because there was a massive storm. And Jesus was sleeping in the boat, and when they wake Jesus up, they say, "Master, care us not that we perish." And the first thing that Jesus says, he says, "You of little faith." It made me ponder that is panicking in the face of danger a sign of little faith? Is panicking when you see that there is imminent death a sign of little faith? It's an interesting story for me, what I find in the book of Daniel chapter 2. But what I like is that these men, it means because they were not panicking, and if you put together what Jesus is saying, it means they had faith in God. You see, faith in God enables us to become. I think that is one characteristic that we need to understand about faith. Faith enables and gives us the ability to become in the face of danger. What kept these young men to become is that they knew there's a God in heaven and believed in God. We are facing a very dangerous time of COVID-19. And in this time of COVID-19, we need more than ever to remain calm and trust in God. We must have our faith in God, because once we do that, then we will not jump up and down like crazy people, but we will remain calm even in the face of danger, because we know even if our God, I like that, even if our God does not save us, we will not bow down to any other God. We need that type of faith. Even if God does not save us, we will not bow down. We need to become even in the face of danger. And how we do that is by trusting in God. May the good Lord bless us. May the Lord bless you. May you keep safe at home. Thank you.